Alright, let's start with Illustrator 1. Hopefully you guys kind of got the hang of using Illustrator a little bit. Maybe you just got familiar with the workspace. So yesterday I showed you how to create your own custom workspace like what I have here. All I did is just change the which panels are showing. Just go in a window, pick which panels I think I should have on the side here. And I went over all of these panels, what they're for. And we went through most of the tools here. So today, let me show you how to do the first assignment, which is to label all the tools in the tools panel. We'll do this together real quick. But yeah, I do need to give you this as an assignment. So let me just post it right now. Put it under Illustrator 1 assignments. So this one will be to label tools. Okay, so you're gonna take a screenshot of the tools panel and label each tool along with the shortcuts and not just the tools, but also label all this other stuff on the bottom. So label everything in it, not just the tools. Alright, so that's our first assignment. So let me show you how to do it real quick. So just like in Photoshop, we're going to need to take a screenshot of this. So we're going to need to use the snipping tool, or if you're on a Mac, there's a shortcut for it, Command Shift something. I forgot exactly. Let me look it up real quick. Mac screenshot shortcut. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be, what was it? Shift Command 4 will let you capture a portion of your screen. And if you're on Windows, use the snipping tool to do it. Snipping tool, just search for it. Just click SNIP and it should come up. And I'm just going to say new. Actually, sorry, not yet. Let's go to Illustrator. Make sure this is showing. And I think I'll have it like this. You could label it long ways, but I think it's more convenient to do it this way. So I'll have it like this, and then I'll use the snipping tool to say new. And then I'll just drag a box around the tools panel just to capture that piece, and then I'll just do a copy, and then I'll put this back where it is, and I'll say edit, paste. Okay, and there it is. There's my tools panel. So now we have a picture of the tools panel. This is the real one. This is the picture. So do that real quick. Use the snipping tool, or if you're on Mac, use the shortcut. And just paste it in there. Well, for the file size, I didn't mention the file size. Let's do I guess 1920 by 1080. I don't know, the file size is not too important, but there it is. I'm pasting it in there. We'll also maybe do the panels as well, even though they're already labeled. If you just pull this out, the name's already there, so it's kind of pointless doing it that way. But it'll just help you get used to, knowing which one is which. So I don't know, might be a good idea to label those as well. For now, I'm just gonna leave that there and just do these. We're also gonna make this look kind of nice, not just a plain old label, the tools panel. We're using Illustrator. It's a tool of graphic designers, so why don't we also include some graphic design skills in this. So that means just, start with maybe a title, Adobe Illustrator. We could make that bigger. So remember the type tool, you can make a box and type into it. In the newer versions of Adobe Illustrator, when you make a box, it's gonna fill it with this random lorem ipsum text. You could just delete that after, or you can also type by just clicking once and just typing what you need to type, right? Adobe Illustrator. So maybe I'll put that there and just give it like a title and put my name somewhere. Make that smaller probably, and I'll have our name somewhere on there and label that. Put the title here, like tools panel. I'll make that smaller. Okay, so you can resize text, but make sure you hold shift when you do, or else you're gonna like stretch it and stuff. So hold shift when you're resizing, or you could just change the font size through here. That's the control panel. Remember up here we call this the control panel. The control panel is always gonna have a bunch of options and like buttons that you can click on, like the character button here opens up the character panel. It's basically same thing you get here. If you have the character panels on the side and you have character included from here, go to window character if it's not there, and then just add it to your list of panels on the side. That's going to have options for changing the font style, font size, the leading, the tracking, kerning, and then a bunch of other options. We could even say show options to show more options, like if you want all caps or small caps or superscript or subscript, underline, all those options are available in the character panel. They're also available if you click here. So if you have text selected and you look up here in the control panel, you'll see that there's the character. It says character here. You just click on that and you'll get the same options as the character panel. Okay. You can also change the font from here. What I like to do is just click inside that, and with my arrow keys, just press up and down, or I could use my mouse wheel too. So using my mouse wheel, I can scroll through the fonts till I find something I like. A newer version of Illustrator and, well, most programs, the newer version of the Photoshop CC version of, I mean, the Adobe CC version of Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign are going to include filters. It's not in the old Adobe CS6, but the new ones have these filters. So you can filter, like if you want text that's classified as sans serif only, or serif only, or slab serif, or script fonts. So you can filter them, which is kind of useful. I'm gonna clear this though, because I don't know exactly what I want to filter by. Just go with something simple. Anyway, so you could choose your font from there and the font size. So here we're gonna need to label all the tools. So we're gonna need to make, let's see. So one way to do this is to just type like direct selection tool, right? That's the first one there. If you hover your mouse over it, you'll see it says direct selection tool, and the shortcut is A. So I wouldn't do it this way, but this is one way to do it. You could, label one tool like this, and then copy that down by holding Alt and then moving it down. And you could do that for all of the other tools. And if you do it messy, like I am right now, it's okay because you can always select them all, and then you can click align left. You can also do a distribute. So up here you'll get, anytime you select multiple objects, in your control panel you'll get the alignment options. Okay, same thing you'll get if you click on align, all these buttons, so you can align or distribute. So I aligned to the left side. I want to distribute vertically. That means space it apart evenly. I can do that, but it's better if you don't do that. It's better if you do it this way. Just instead of a single text box and copying that single text box, I would make a box like this and then type, direct. Well, first let's delete all this lorem ipsum, and direct selection tool shortcut is A. Of course, I need to make that smaller, so I'll decrease the font size. And then you can press enter, go to the next one. That's the lasso tool. Lasso tool, shortcut is Q. Okay, and then we got, what is that? The curvature tool. What was the shortcut for that one? Shift plus squiggly line. Shift plus tilde. And then we got the line segment tool, and so on. So let me just label a few of these. Paintbrush tool, B. Oops. Eraser tool. That one's gonna be E, Shift E, actually Shift plus E. Maybe it's better with the space. I have the scale tool, the free transform tool. You don't have to put tool for all of them. If it gets too long, you could just avoid it. But we have pretty wide artboard, so it doesn't hurt to have long names. Anyway, so if you're doing it this way, you want the name of the tool to line up with the actual tool. But let's say I made the font a little bit smaller and it doesn't really line up anymore. Well, you can select all this or select whichever lines you want. And then if you go to the character panel, you can click on the leading. Like you can increase the leading to increase the space between each line until it matches the tools. Okay. And if some of them are further or closer than the others, you can just select those lines and change just those, the leading for those. Okay, leading is the space between top and bottom line. So perspective, grid tool, gradient tool, blend tool, column graph tool. I'm not putting the shortcuts because I don't have them memorized, but I'll put them later. Slice tool, zoom tool. This will switch the fill and the stroke, or swap. Next one is the stroke. Down here, I'll probably label all three. So color, gradient, and none. Okay, but you can see these need to be a little bit further, so I'll increase the leading on those. That looks better. Then we have our screen mode, or actually the draw mode. Draw mode. I could be more specific. This is draw normal, draw behind, draw inside. Draw normal, behind, inside. And this one needs to go up a little, so I'll decrease the leading. Now we have our screen mode. Change screen mode. Okay, so the right side's labeled. And then I will just take this, copy it to this side, and then align the text by going to the paragraph panel. I can align the text to the right side and start labeling these, right? This is the selection tool. Shortcut is V. Okay, so let's just pretend I labeled all of these correctly and done labeling them. You just figure out like what's the nicest way to put this together. Maybe make this smaller and then make this one bigger. I don't know. And then include some pictures, or um, maybe some shapes. Um, whenever you have a situation like this, where we have, let's say this is red, the text is behind this shape, well, you can always select the shape or the text. You can go to Object, Arrange, and then you can send forward or backwards, or we can say bring to front and bring this to the front. Make that white. Maybe make this one white as well, and again, Object, Arrange, bring to front. There's also a shortcut, Shift Control J, to bring things to the front. Okay, and then maybe just to make this look nicer, just throw in some kind of pattern or something. Maybe do this, fill it with some sort of pattern. Or maybe fill the whole thing with a pattern, or just do random things, just design it. I mean, lots of stuff you can do. Like maybe I want this to just be black. I'll make my name white, bring it to the front. And then I don't know, just make some cubes here. To make it look like, I don't know, like it's dissolving or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it look less simple because since I'm not putting this in here, not putting the panels, just don't want to leave it empty. So just putting something, maybe make these different colors. I don't know. We could also put a background on this. Make that one black and make these white. No, I think that was unnecessary, but um, just think of something, just make it not so plain for a little better grade, right? Because what am I supposed to grade you on, right? I'm just asking you to label stuff. So throw in something a little extra for like a full 100% on the grade. This thing, let's see, I got a little bit of white edges on this, but that's just because I didn't copy it. I didn't do the snipping tool like exactly on the line, or I did it a little bit outside. So maybe I'll do a new one. So get rid of this one. Do a snipping tool again. This time I'll go inside. That's better, I guess. Okay, put this back. Again, I'm using my mouse wheel to scroll through the fonts just to find a nice font. While I'm doing this, you guys try to think of a nice way to label it. Try some other stuff. Might make this bigger. That was better. Any questions on this? Just label. Again, you're gonna need to use the character panel in order to increase the or to adjust the leading value. So again, that's the distance between each line. Just make sure it lines up correctly. Like here, for example, it looks like it's off. We got where does it start going off? Got our selection tool, got our magic wand. Oops, magic wand. Got our pen tool. Shortcut is P. Rectangle tool. But you could see here it's not like lined up correctly, so I would first of all maybe move it down a little. Okay, now it's lined up. Okay, but if it's not, again, just make a box to type in and adjust the leading. And then as far as the design, it would help maybe if you got some pictures or something. Just trying to use like random shapes. It's not really working out. Does not look good. Right, so yeah, it's kind of boring, so I'm not gonna do that. So while I um think about kind of design to add to this, you guys work on it, and I'll tell you what we're gonna do next. We have lesson files in the OneDrive, so let me share these with you. Share, apply, copy link, paste that there. Um, I'll try to do. I don't want to do exactly what the book lesson is, but I'll do something related to each one. Like the first one we'll do is probably lesson 2, which is um going over some simple things like moving stuff with the move tool, aligning things, just the very basics. But this already covers those basics. Just working on this right now, creating the tools panel and labeling it, that's gonna teach you, or it's gonna get you used to doing these things. Oops, I missed the type tool. T rectangle tool. M. Okay, so I'll give you guys like 5-minute break to start working on this. So again, you're gonna take a screenshot of your tools panel, paste it in here, make a text box, start typing in the names of the tools. If you want to know what the name of the tool is, you just hover over it with the mouse, it'll tell you. Okay, any questions? Questions? Illustrator 1? No? Okay. So I'll go quiet for 5 minutes. Do you guys want me to give you more time to work on this assignment, or should we look at um, the lesson 2? Pretty simple lesson. Um, but I think if we don't do lesson 2, we could just spend more time on this. So lesson 2 shows you some very basic stuff. I'll download it just to like quickly go over it. There's 2 files in here. One of them, where is it? Downloads. Okay, so this one, it's just a fence, right? And you have to put the fence together first. So you have to select all these pieces. And I've been showing you the alignment panel, right? The align lets you line things up to the left, or to the right, or to the top, or the bottom. So we're gonna need to do that. Align things to the bottom first, I think. Then there's also distribute objects. We can distribute vertical centers or horizontal centers. And then once we do that, we can see it's evenly spaced apart. Then we can use the direct selection tool to select a certain point of an object, right? If you want to edit a shape of something, you want to use the direct select tool. So you can click on the points that it's made out of and move those points around. So I'll move this down. Then we can put this on top of it like this. And then once you're satisfied with the position of all of that, select all of it and say object group. Then you can group it together, right? But I'm showing you similar techniques while creating these tools here. So we do this for the circle here. See, what tool is this? It's the shaper tool. This one, let's say we want to draw this pencil shape or whatever that is. You can just I wouldn't use a line, because if we just draw a line, it doesn't have a point at the tip, right? So instead I'll draw a rectangle, take away the stroke and just make it a fill, and just put a point on it, like a triangle point. Make a triangle. Remember, to make a triangle, we create a shape, create a polygon with the polygon tool. Press up and down to change the number of sides. Press down all the way, you get a triangle. Hold shift to keep it straight. We can scale it down to fit the end of this, okay? Then we group it together. We can either group it together or just merge it together. I'll merge it in this case. We rotate that, scale it down. We have this shape here. And if it's too sharp, I'll just pull this in a little bit. Make it longer. There we go. Make that whole thing white. Okay, what do we have next? I don't know why this looks too big. That's the right size. Next we have the eraser. Now eraser To me, it looks like it's a square. Draw a square. Let's get rid of the stroke. Just a fill on it, black fill right now. And then for this part, looks like a rounded rectangle. So just draw another rectangle, but a little bit smaller, and then round the corners, and make that one the stroke instead of the fill. And then that's sort of what that eraser looks like, right? Actually, we could even round these corners slightly. And then just put it here just to make sure it matches. Then we move this over here. Except this needs to be white. And this needs to be white too. Okay. And object group to keep it together. Same with this one. Object group. This one too. Object group. This one as well. Object group. That one's already grouped. Oh, this one's not grouped, so object group. This one might be tricky. It's not too tricky. So this one we would need to first draw a circle. So we first draw a circle. Let me make it black so we could see it. Okay, so we want a shape like this. It's a circle, but on the bottom half you could see it's dotted lines, and then from here to here it gets fatter, so from skinny to thicker line, and then there's an arrow at the end. Well, we can already do things like make a line fatter or skinnier by changing this option here in the width profile, right? If you draw a line, even this line, even lines that you draw like this, when you select them, you could change their width profile. It says variable width profile. You'll find that also in the stroke panel. Here it is, profile, right? And it's got some presets like with profile 1, makes the line look like this. Make it thicker, you'll see more obvious, right? Makes the line look like that. We also have this one, and this one, and this one, and this is most likely what we'll use for this arrow, right? Except it'll be um, curving that way, right? You can add extra curve handle here to just make it easier to shape that. And then at the end of it, it has an arrowhead. Well, Illustrator lets you pick arrowheads. So we can pick like this type of arrowhead, make it smaller if we need to. Or we could just draw a triangle if you don't want to do it this way. But there's that arrowhead, there's a different one. Right? Or you could just draw a triangle and stick it at the end of that. Okay. And you don't even have to draw this curve yourself. You can just use a circle. Just cut the circle in half by clicking the 2 points in the middle. So this point and this point, and then clicking the scissors up here, cut path at selected anchor points. That will let you cut it. The bottom half we can change into a dashed line and change the spacing between the dashes until, I don't know, it matches this. We can't really see this too well because of the low resolution, but we can do that. You can even give it rounded endpoints. Increase the gap space. Let's just, oh, well, that's too close. Let's do 3. So maybe something like that. Maybe cut off a little bit of it. So erase just a little bit. I'll just erase from this point here. Put that here. Make this one again. Use this profile to make this thicker. And maybe cut off a little bit from this tip. By the way, when you're using the eraser, let's say I have this shape here, and then this one over here. If I select this and I grab the eraser and I go like this, only this one will get erased. At first it'll look like this is getting erased, but once you let go of the mouse, you'll see only the one that you had selected got erased. If you don't select anything, then yeah, it'll select both of them. So here I'm just gonna select this, and then if I go over this, doesn't matter if I go over this, nothing happens to it because it's not selected. So I mean that's already good enough. Do something like that. If you wanted, you could even use the width tool to make this a little bit thicker if you felt like it needed to be thicker. And then I could grab this triangle, make it a little bit smaller maybe, same size as this triangle. Rotate it the same, right? And then just stick it on the head of this. Cool, so I think that does it. Bring that down a little bit, make it white, make this white, object group, and bring it here. Drawing this one with just the rectangle tool. We can make it exactly the same size. Copy this with holding the Alt button, hold Shift and make it smaller. And we got an arrow pointing this way, so just make a line. You could put a triangle there or just give it an arrowhead. Oops, wrong side. Make that smaller by scaling the arrowhead. Scale it down. I think actually we need a different arrowhead, maybe this one. Yeah, that's good enough. It's gonna be tiny anyway, so we're not worried too much about the details. Okay, select um, this one, and this one. Say object group. Move it over to here. Any questions so far on like drawing these? You can try it. So I'm just gonna do that instead of going over this lesson because again, lessons get kind of boring. Making the fence, grouping the tree together, and then rearranging things by pressing Object Arrange bring to front. These are things that we need to learn from this lesson, but I'm already mentioning it with the labeling of the tools panel. So object arrange, bring to front. Now, whenever you do object arrange, bring to front, what you're really doing is rearranging the sublayers, right? There is a layers panel with multiple sublayers for every object that you create. It has its own sublayer. When you group them together, then the group has its sublayers. Okay, in this case, we can see here, it's kind of small, but the little icon indicates here that this one is on the top, above everything, and the fence is below everything. Right, but if I bring the front fence to the top, now it's on top of everything. Whenever I do object arrange, um, send backward, it just takes it down one step. And then if you use the shortcut, which is Control left bracket or right bracket, you could send it to the back or bring it to the forward. So again, the shortcut is Control plus either left bracket or right bracket. Oops. So this one, send backward. Bring forward. Right, so if I select this and I press Control left bracket, it sends it backward. If I press Control right bracket, it brings it forward. Try those shortcuts because you're gonna need to use those a lot. So if I select this eraser and I say Control left bracket, press that a bunch of times, eventually it'll go behind that. Okay. If I go to my layers panel, if I select it, you'll know what you have selected by there'll be a blue, or actually won't, it's not always blue depending on which layer you're on. Right now layer 1 is blue, so there's a blue square next to this group. So this group that you see at the top of my layers list, that's actually the group of the eraser. I can even rename it to eraser. So now I know that this in my layers panel is the eraser. If I hide it, you can see the eraser disappears. This other group is the scale tool, scale, but I'm not going to label all of them, but I just wanted to show you that these are in our layers. Okay, and the one that you select, again, it has a blue square on the right side. That's how you know where it is inside your layers. Okay. Now some of these tools look more difficult to draw, like this one. Well, this one, I guess the only way to draw it would just be to grab the pen tool and just trace the shape of it. So something like this. Holding Alt button here. Now, again, another reason why I don't expect you to draw these right now is because you're gonna have to know how to use the pen tool with all the shortcuts and everything, like holding Alt to break these handles and stuff. We need a little bit more practice with those maybe before you start trying to do this one. But anyway, this is the shape of this, and I can't tell what it is. Like there's some kind of line going through here. Um, that's the most difficult one to draw, I guess. That weird shape. But it looks like it's just, what is it? It's a line, and a line with circles on it. Just draw a line from here to here. Draw a circle here. Make that circle a darker color, like I guess the purple that we're using here. Maybe put one here and one here. Again, it's so low resolution that you can't really tell what it is, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I'm just gonna hold it. Select all of these and object group them together and bring them here and and fill this. I'm gonna double click this to enter the group and do that. So double clicking enters groups. If I select two objects like this, like the MasterCard logo, if I select those and I say object group, then they're grouped together, right? But what if I wanted to move them a little bit closer together? Then I would double click on it to enter the group. You can see like everything else kind of gets um like the gets a white overlay over it. You see, I can't touch this anymore. I can't touch, oops. Unless you double click, you'll get back out of there. But when you double click a group, you enter the group. You can see here it says layer 1 group. So I'm in group inside layer 1. So basically I'm inside here. Actually, if you go to your layers, it'll show you that you're in isolation mode. And that way you can move things like this and then double click to get back out of the group and still group together. So I'm gonna go back into this group and give these a white fill. Like that looks more like the width tool. So we'll do that. Now drawing this one, just draw a rectangle and then fill it with, or change the stroke color to white, no fill. And looks like we just need to put some boxes on the corners. So hold Alt again and drag to copy. And if you hold Shift while you're doing that, you could move it in a straight line. Oops. And this has the arrow again, so I'll just borrow the arrow from this one. Make it smaller. Take that and well, I'm gonna have to select all of this and deselect this. Or deselect this. Something got selected. This text box got selected, so I'm deselecting it by pressing Shift. Now I think, oops, I still have some other stuff selected, like the tools panel, so I'm going to Shift deselect that. Okay, now I only have this selected, so I'll say Object Group, and I'll move that there. Okay, so I think I drew enough of the tools to give you an idea of, how to draw some of these using the different tools available. But I'm not going to go through all of them because it'll be pointless. I might do it later on my own time and then upload it to the OneDrive, but let's move on to something else. So in, again, lesson 2, it just goes over some really basic stuff, like, again, using the align tool. So let me file revert, go back to how this was. So first we use the alignment tool or alignment option to line things up on the bottom. Then we use distribute horizontally. Then we use the direct selection tool. And then we group it together with this post. And we just grab all of it, say object group, and it's grouped together. Then when we try to put the apples on the tree, we notice that the apples are behind the tree. So what you do is you select the tree, you send it to the back by doing object arrange, send to back, or send backward a bunch of times, control left bracket, or if you press control shift left bracket, it'll just send it all the way to the back. I also want to send this all the way to the back, so control shift left bracket, send it to the back. This should go behind the tree, so control left bracket, send it backwards, and then we have our setup the way it should be. Okay, but that's all I want to do with this lesson. I don't want to waste time on it because it's very basic. So we'll close that, and let me see if there's a second part to this. We have the school bus. So the point of this is to get used to snapping things to where they should go. Like when I move this here, it snaps right there. It kind of sticks to the bottom of this box that I put it in. We need to center this. So we use, again, alignment tools to center. And we group it with object group. Copy it here, or move it there, and then hold Alt. Copy it to the other side. Okay, we move this grill here to the center. And you can see these purple lines that pop up. Those are your smart guides. That will help you line up where it needs to be exactly. Then we select all of these. We center them again with align center. We can then move these here. This one needs to be a little bit longer, the one in the middle. So we could either use the direct select tool and just grab the start point and move it to the left, and grab this point, move it to the right. Or you could also scale it just by selecting it and from the edge pull it in or out. What else? And then there's a little top part here. There's a point here you can select, pull it up to make that more like the end file, or this one. But again, it's very simple, basic lesson. Should be very easy to pick up those tools and the way you use them. So I'm gonna just close that and not spend too much time on it. We'll just focus on finishing this today. Projects. So normally, yeah, I do start with the tools panel. So there's an example of the tools panel here. This one, I gave it some background colors for the tool names. If you want to do something like this, you could make a box. Let's say for like direct selection tool, I'll put a box behind it, fill it with a certain color, like a light purple maybe, just to go with the current theme. And then it's on top of the letter, so what do? Object arrange, send backward. Object arrange, send backward. Now I keep having to, since I have a lot of layers, I have to press Control left bracket a bunch of times until it finally goes behind the text, but eventually it does. See, if I press it enough, object arrange send backward, eventually it'll go behind the text. Then we can copy that down. Make sure it snaps to where it needs to snap, right there. Change the color of this one. I'll use the color guide here to pick a color that might go with this. Maybe yellow, or I'll click here and I'll try. Let's look at our analogous color guide and see what color I should pick with this one. I think I'll go with the pink. Yeah, I'll go with the light pink. Okay. Then once you have two of those, okay, by the way, there's this annoying thing about text boxes. When you're trying to click on something and the text box is in the way, you're gonna select the text box. So whenever you're doing that and you don't want the text box to get in your way, it might be a good idea to lock it. So you just select the text box and say object lock selection. That way you can't touch it anymore. And then just work on what you need to. So I'm selecting both of these and I'm holding Alt and I'm copying it down. Then I'll do it again. Select those, hold Alt, copy it down. Then select all of those, hold Alt and copy it down. See, until I get a bunch of these. And then we just need to scale it down so that each tool is next to one bar. So I'll just scale it down a little bit. And actually, since I can move those tools around, I'll just select these, move them up slightly, move these up slightly, and then these. I might even I'm gonna lock this purple box for a second because it's also getting in the way. So lock selection. Select these, move them up. Right. So now the text also needs to be adjusted, I think. It is staying within the box. Maybe instead of adjusting it, I'll just do an object unlock all and just nudge it up a little bit and to the left. The line height seems okay, so I won't have to change the you could call it line height or you could call it leading, but I don't need to change that from the character panel. This thing that lets me change the distance between each line. 34 is good, so I'll leave it at that. But I don't know, you don't have to do that, but just want to show you how I did that. Okay. So again, you just draw some boxes, whatever color. Make sure they're the same height, and then just do a different color for the other one. Hold the Alt button, copy it down, do it again. If you just want to quickly make a bunch of these. And then it's a good idea to group them together. You can scale them up or down, do whatever you want. Just to give it some, little bit of design. Looks like I also have instructions on here, but I already told you what you need to do. The instructions here might have some other steps. Let's see. Oh yeah. Um, this assignment here. The instructions here are assuming you're just gonna download the tools panel and the panels instead of copy paste it from the snipping tool. But yeah, if you want, you could just download these as well. They're available. Um, but let me share this folder with you in case you don't have this. Let's say share, copy, paste. That's the entire assignments folder. You're gonna see things in there for Illustrator 2 as well. So just click on Illustrator 1 to see the type of stuff we're gonna be working on. Okay. Ooh, next project should be fun. Your next assignment, show you how to draw an alarm clock. That should be fun. Okay, so and since it's such a simple, boring assignment, let's try to make it fun by doing a little extra, like what I'm doing here, drawing all the actual tools. Um, look, this is a little too extra. I really don't want to make you guys do all that, but at least, do something like this where you have like alternating colors for the background, or just think of some cool things to add. Nice way to design the whole thing, right? You could put a picture here if you want, maybe something from Pexels or Unsplash. Maybe include a background. Oops, let's go to actual website. I don't know what would make sense with labeling some tools. Maybe it doesn't have to make sense. You just put something in there like this. But better if it makes sense, right? I mean, it's just a random little element I added there to make it look less boring. But again, the creativity part is the hard part. I can't really teach creativity. Those ideas have to just come to you. But I can show you how to use the tools, which is what I'll be doing. So coming up with ideas, best I can do is um, show you some examples of what I might do, right? But yeah, it's up to you to come up with some cool ideas how to make this not so boring, okay? And I'm not making you label the panels this time. The instructions might say you need to do that, but don't worry about labeling these. Why is this moving around so slow? That's weird. Anyways, it's break time, so let me know if you have questions. Um, but yeah, I'm giving you a lot of time to work on this because you have lab day tomorrow, and I don't know, you should have already been working on it right now, I think. But you have tomorrow and Thursday to also work on this, so make it count. Okay, any questions? If no questions, okay, then you can take a break. Actually, after the break, it's gonna be Illustrator 2. Alright, so take 15. So in Illustrator 2, our next project, well, I think I gave you something yesterday, right? Let's go here. Project Illustrator 2. Oh no, I didn't. I'd made you use the pen tool to trace your name, right? So has anyone already done that yet, or probably not? It's kind of early. Just assigned it yesterday. Um, let's go to Illustrator 2. Oh, looks like one turned in. Let's check it out. Eric, let's see what you did. Okay, nice. So you're using all right, so you were able to draw your name with the pen tool. Now now after you draw it, you could refine it. Like I see here, you've got maybe some extra points that don't need to be there. I mean, you could keep it like that if you want, but let's say drawing my name with the pen tool, you might have like extra points that you don't need. Like right now, I just drew the letter D, but with few extra points that make it look less smooth. So if you go in and remove a few points, like I don't need this point, I could click this minus button, get rid of it. I don't need this one either, get rid of it. And instead I'll just use the points that I do have. I'll just extend the curves a little bit. The fewer points you have, the smoother it will look. So it's really useful having these handles. Like I don't need that point either, so I could probably just get rid of it. Get that one there. Adjust these curves. Um, if you do need to add a point, like maybe I want to add a point right here, I'll just grab the pen tool and click on that. Bring that down a little bit. Right, so try to get as many, try to put as few points as possible. The fewer points you have, the easier it'll be to control the shape. Right, if you create a circle, for example, it's only gonna have 4 points on it. But even a circle, you could probably create a circle with just 2 points. Like if I get rid of these 2 points, now I just have this point and this point. Um, I could probably just like scale this like this, still have a circle. Maybe not as perfect a circle, but almost. Right, but all that I'm doing by stretching it is just stretching these out. Okay, so let's look at how to create some more custom brushes to add to um, our list of custom brushes. So again, there's a current library of brushes, and Eric, I think um, this one looks a lot like the one that's already available. This one, sort of, right? Kind of looks like that. You can't really change the color of it because it's like using a picture, like a raster image in there. You can see the pixels in there. Um, so yeah, I'm guessing this one is also built in. So you found it somewhere. Image brush library. Yeah, so you use that one, right? So I'll show you how to create your own brushes. Oh, that's a cool one. There's a new. This wasn't there before. See how that looks if you bend it. It works pretty nicely. That's cool. we go to brushes, where's our brushes? Brushes. There it is. And we double click on any of these, or this one, for example. You can see all it is just this image. That's the original. So basically, they took an image of telephone wire. Maybe let's see if there's a good picture that we can use. Might be able to use this right here. Copy image. Paste. Now we'd probably have to edit this in Photoshop before we could use it though. Alright, you would just need like a section of this, and then you could convert it into a brush. Like if I take this and let's put it in Photoshop, see if we can get a brush out of this. Okay, so in Photoshop, I'm gonna crop some of this. It's kind of low res though. Let me see if there's a higher resolution image. Copy, paste. So you would need a small section. So let's crop this. Let's say we just need this amount maybe. Now to test whether it would work seamlessly, you need to try repeating it to see if it works. Like if I do filter, other, and then offset, just move it a little bit to one side. You could see whenever it repeats, it looks pretty okay. I'm actually surprised that I don't need to do anything else to it. Oh, sorry, it's because when I cropped it, I didn't do delete cropped pixels. So let's do that and crop it. And then filter, other, offset. Okay, so there you can see the part where it's repeating. There's like a slight line right here. That tells me I just need to crop a tiny bit more. Try it again, filter, other, offset. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty seamless now. There's a slight like little line right there, but I can just Photoshop that. You can take a sample from here and then maybe paint over that slightly. And so this as it is should be good enough, I think. But we don't need the background, so I'll delete the background. Select deselect and get rid of the white background. This is a case where you might want to use the pen tool to select it. But just to keep it simple, I'm gonna maybe just lower the tolerance to 20 and then try doing this. Just delete that background. Okay, select deselect and then smooth that a tiny bit. And we can take this and save it as a PNG without the background. Put that on the desktop. Cool. So I've taken this image, cropped it into just a piece that I need, and I'll just grab that piece and drag it here. And then I can say new brush, pattern brush, okay. It says brushes cannot contain linked image. Okay, I need to embed the image, so embed, and then we can try that again. New brush, pattern brush, and see if this will work nicely. I'm gonna say okay, and then let's try that one. Oops, it needs to be scaled down a little bit, so we'll scale it down. There we go. A little bit more. And there, I've just created my own brush out of a picture I just found. Right? There's a little bit of a gap right there. Um, I guess we could try adjusting. Let me see if I go into the settings and change something here. Add space to fit. No. Approximate path. Let's try that. Okay, apply to strokes. Doesn't help. Spacing, maybe we could go negative, or maybe not. It doesn't let us go negative. Anyways, and it just turned out to have that tiny little gap, but no big deal. So you can see it's very easy to make your own brushes, right? I just showed you a quick way to make your own wire brush. So you can make them out of pictures, or you could just draw them yourself. Like if you wanted something similar to that, maybe draw some sort of guide, like a rectangle, and then try to draw some curves to fit the top and bottom. Actually, I need some more guides here. I'm gonna draw a rectangular grid for this with, let's see, I think 3 by 3 is good, something like that. And then I'll lock it. And I'll grab my pen tool, change it to a different color. Let's say we start from here, we stretch all the way to this point. We come here, stretch to this point, here, stretch to this point. And actually that might not work, because if I repeat this, yeah, so you see if I repeated this, this line would need to connect with this one. So that tells me I need one more grid box here. So instead of 3, I'll make one with 4. There. Okay, and I'll try that again. I'll lock this. Okay, and draw from this point to here, this point to here, this point to here, and this point to here again. And finally, this one to here. Okay, now if I was to repeat this, they would connect. Okay, so now I'll get rid of the guide. And maybe just adjust this, make it thicker maybe scale it down a little. But I can turn this into a brush now by going to my brushes, new brush, pattern brush, and click OK. Click OK again. And then let's see if we could apply that to some shapes, like a circle. So there you go. Created a brush out of this. some other ideas. Maybe you want it to look like wires. You could do, let's grab the pen tool. Actually, let's just draw some straight lines. I'll grab the line tool. One line there, one line here, one line here. Just change the colors. What color do you usually see wires inside stuff? It's gonna be red, green, and yellow, or black sometimes. And then we'll just add some points to it, like in the middle, here, here, here. Oops. And then we'll take that point, make it a curve. Actually, make all of these points curves. Give them handles by clicking Convert Selected Anchor Point to Smooth. Make sure the start point points straight like this, and also the end point points straight, because it's gonna need to connect, and it'll connect more nicely like that than if it's pointing that way, right? That's not gonna look good. So that's why I'm straightening it with the direct select tool. Then this part we could twist it. This one also twist it, and this one. You can even let them like overlap and stuff. Like that. So now if this was gonna repeat, you can see it connects nicely. So that tells me I can make a brush out of it. So I could just select all of it, go to brushes, new brush, pattern brush. Of course, I'm always using pattern brush because the other ones won't really work. Click OK. Okay, so now I've made a brush out of that. So if I were to draw my name, let's just do the letter D. I apply this to it, and maybe want to scale it down to make it smaller. Alright, so now I could have a brush that looks like that. Right, then just quickly, roughly draw your name. Then you can go in and fix it with the direct select tool. In this case, with this type of brush, it's kind of hard to read, but um, oops. Anyways, try to make that even thinner, might look better. So let's lower that to 5%. Okay, and then you can make it thicker if you need to. Okay. So that'll be the next thing to try. And apply that to your name. So Eric, like the name first, I would try to get rid of. I could tell there's like extra points you don't need. Try getting rid of those. See if you could get like a smoother curve right here. And then if you have any sharp angles, smooth those as well. And then try creating your own custom brush to add to it. Okay. But yeah, I don't want to stick to that same topic all day. So let's figure out what the next thing is to learn today. Um, just look at some of my assignments here. We've got a lot of things we can try. Um, there's this cool effect. We could make stuff out of triangles. We try doing a logo. Or we could try drawing stuff like this. This one's a pretty tough assignment though. If you try to draw like a whole um, an image like this using just Illustrator, it's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of work. Um, so I'll keep that as one of the final assignments. For now, I think let's look at some cool effects we can do in Illustrator. Um, to get some ideas, I like to go to Behance and see what people have created using Adobe Illustrator. So I'll look for, let's click Discover and then click Illustrator because in Behance it tells you what programs people use. So there's InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop. So I'll just click Illustrator and see what kind of things people came up with. Okay. So illustrations like this, you gotta know how to play with the light because they're only using like 2 colors or 3 colors on these. So you have to um, make use of all the shadows in the image if you want to come up with something like that. Um, I think I have some examples here. Let me see. That one. This one. Yeah, so like certain images work a little bit easier, but I think this is the next thing I'm gonna have you guys do. Since we're trying to master the pen tool, this project is all about the pen tool mostly. You're gonna be drawing, tracing with the pen tool. Um, I would choose like some sort of celebrity face that's easy to recognize. This one's Robert Downey Jr. as Charlie Chaplin. You got the Home Alone kid, um, Santa Claus. So let me show you how to do this. First, we're gonna need an image of a person, right? Because I'm gonna go with that since this reminded me of that. Let's do um, Elvis Presley. Okay, so it helps looking at the black and white image because you are gonna just be doing things in black and white or two-tone. So find images like this and then uh, try to get one that's high resolution. And images with lots of shadows, sharp shadows, are gonna be easier to figure out. Um, I think this one's good. It's a little soft, but let's just try it. Let's copy the image and paste it. Now I'm working on I think it's 1920 by 1080. So I'm just gonna scale this down holding shift to make it fit inside here. The first step to tracing this, you should maybe lower the opacity of this image a tiny bit. Let's bring it down to like 75. Then lock it, object lock selection. Okay, and then start by I guess start by doing the face. And remember, you're not gonna be a lot of times I see people just drawing like all the shapes, just making lines for everything. Don't do that. Instead, try to draw the shadows, okay? So here we see, there's like under the chin, there's maybe if you want to show the chin line, just do like a thin line here, right? That gradually gets a bit thicker, right? Eventually it becomes like this. You might want to turn off the fill while you're doing this so it doesn't get in the way. Right, so it comes here, goes around, just traces this area. So you can see I'm drawing the shadows. I'm not actually drawing the lip and the nose like you would draw if you were like a kid drawing something. You're gonna be drawing the shadows. So this part, very thin line. And then if you need to if it's rough the first time, you can always go back and adjust it with the direct select tool. Just grab the points and the handles, mess with them until the shape looks better. Oops. Okay, so if I was just gonna look at just the part that I've done so far, um, painted black, that's what it's gonna look like. Of course, we need to add the eye in there somewhere, so there's a little bit of highlight right here, so I'll draw that little bit of highlight, then draw the eye, or the whites of the eye. Okay, so if I look at this, that part's black. If I paint this one white, we can see now the eye is showing. Okay, the parts that there's not so much shadow, you could just draw the dark parts like the eyebrows. Just roughly draw the shape of the eyebrow, the dark areas. And sometimes you have to pick, even if it's not exactly as dark as you want, you could like pick, are you gonna include like this lighter area or not, but just try different ways, and if it doesn't look good, then go back and change it. Let's just say something like that. Make that black. And here we got a line right there. And take out the fill if it's getting in the way. Just bring it back later. Here we got a little bit of eyelash, so might want to put some zigzaggy lines here. Just get rid of the fill so we could see what we're doing. And let's include some of these highlights here. So I'll paint these white right now so they don't get lost whenever I paint the rest of it black. Okay, so if I just move this to the side right now, looks like a person. Maybe you don't recognize it as Elvis yet, but if we add a few more details, like maybe a slight shadow right here, and let's see, here I could have done this as one piece, but it's okay, I'll do it as a separate piece. If I add the hair, I think for sure it'll start looking like Elvis. Now, when you're doing the hair, keep in mind there's going to be highlights in there too, so maybe maybe like right in this area, I'll do this, go like that. Um, go like this. Let's turn off the fill. Anyways, don't worry, don't try to get every single hair in there. Just get the pattern that you're seeing. Um, I can't see the top part, but just have to guess what that's gonna look like. By the way, I'm streaming, right? You guys can see. Okay, good. Okay. Bring this here. You see why I gotta make sure you guys can use the pen tool properly before making you do this, because it's all pen tool. And we'll just join this here. And then let's do this part. Let's see. Uh, yeah, this part's kind of hard to figure out. Maybe go like this. Actually, can have a whole white gap here. We need some black right here. That will make black. There too. Okay, let me turn off the fill so I can see this part. And I don't know, I guess just make some zigzags right here. And let's see, somehow connect this right here. Okay, let's paint it black and see what that ends up looking like. Alright, so yeah, now it's starting to look like Elvis. Let me turn this off though, because I need to add some highlights inside there too. Like right here. Yeah, we'll just draw this. That. A little bit of highlight right here. See, I'm not like trying to get it exact, obviously, as long as kind of matches the pattern. Okay, let's check it out. I'm gonna first select all of this, all of these. Deselect the big one, make these all white. And select this, make it black. Then we can start adding the clothing. So it's just gonna be black, pretty easy. Maybe add some highlights to it, but if you're gonna add highlights, do those first so you don't lose them. Maybe a tiny bit of highlight there, a little bit right here to show that there's a collar. What else? A little bit here to show his neckline. Yeah, so this will be white, this will be white. But let's put this under the chin. So I'm just gonna send it backward. I'm doing object, arrange, send backward until it goes behind that chin. There we go. And this is also a highlight, make that one white. Alright, now we got some more here. Let's make these white as well. Okay, so all those are there, and then we can start drawing this whole shape. We'll make that black. Send it to the back. Let's see what else. Maybe a little bit of black there. Maybe a little extra just to show the bottom of the ear. And maybe a little bit here. Actually, that's probably not necessary. I think that's it. Object. Let's make a new artboard actually. Let's draw a new artboard here on the side. Actually, I'll make it. I'll create an artboard by clicking this plus sign, so it gives me the same size artboard, and we just move this here, and voila. Wait, what's wrong with this area here? I should do something about the hair there. That looks kind of weird. So let me turn the fill off for a second. Probably do something better with this area here. Uh, maybe add a couple points here for some lines. I think that's a little better. Another thing that might be helpful is if we drew the background somehow, but I'm only using two colors, so might not be able to do this. Let me just try it, see what happens. just trace all these highlights as well. We'll just cut it off right there. Let's turn off the fill. Okay, so if I draw that, I guess I would have to draw all the way through to here. I'm just ignoring all this because this is gonna go to the back. I'm gonna draw this shape here. That. Wait, needs to connect back to this point. Okay, so I just drew this thing here. Let's make it gray and send it all the way to the back. Range, send it to back. See if that helps. Sort of. Let's bring this down. Okay, and let's get rid of all this. There's the original, and there's that illustrated version. Okay. Depending on the picture you choose, this might be difficult. Some pictures are easier. Actually, I'm not completely done yet. Let's add, this would really help too, I think. If we add a little bit of shadow under the eye. Either it's gonna make it look like he has a black eye or it's gonna look good. I don't know yet. But if I'm gonna add that, I might extend all this stuff here too. So hopefully it doesn't look like a black eye. It kind of does look like a black eye. What could we do about that? Try to make it thinner somehow. See if that looks less like a black eye or does it still look like a black eye? Ugh, that looks worse. There's some parts it's just hard to figure out. Just gotta go back and try again. I still think that looks like a black eye. I can't figure out the best way to draw that part. Uh, what does it need? Like more hollow? Alright, I should try probably not include this bottom part. Just get rid of it. Just do that maybe. Ugh, just get rid of that. That. Anyways, leave it as that, I guess. Or maybe just a tiny like line right there. I don't know. I guess it's fine without it. But that's definitely gonna be one of your assignments, but I would start by doing some pen practice first. If you look inside here, Illustrator 2, actually it's in projects. Actually, no, it's outside of projects. It's under pen practice. I've got some practice that I usually make everyone do during the beginning of class and give you guys like 20 minutes or 30 minutes to try these. Um, some cartoon characters. Easiest would be like doing, I guess Mickey Mouse head would be pretty easy. So just for practice, I would get this picture and try doing this one. For the Mickey Mouse, you might even get away with never using the pen tool. You could draw the ears with a couple circles. Just rotate it that circle a little bit. Squish it this way. Just make it fit the size of that image. That doesn't have to be exact. But yeah, I would start by practicing with these first. Um, Actually, I'm gonna make you guys practice with the pen tool. Since again, it is something I normally have you guys do pen practice. It's gonna be part of your assignments. So before you try doing the celebrity face, like the Elvis Presley I did here, um, you might want to get some practice by tracing number one, do with Mickey Mouse first, and then you can move on to the other ones. Let's say Mickey Mouse is the easiest, then maybe the South Park character, then the Powerpuff Girls, okay, and then Bugs Bunny and Sylvester. Those are already getting a little bit difficult, okay, and then you have the eye um, example as well. So the pen practice, I'm just gonna make it one assignment, but you need to include at least one, two, three, four. Make you do at least four of these, okay? That will be one of your assignments. So let me assign that right now before I forget. Create topic. Nope, there we go. Let's do pen practice. Practice tracing with the pen tool. Do at least four images. You may use images in the pen practice folder or find an image with similar difficulty. So just remember to do at least 4 images. That's it. And this will be due like at the end of class. We'll look at all of them. Or just do it as soon as you can. I'm not. It's not gonna be due like next week or anything. I'm just gonna look at all of them together in the end at the end of class. So um, when I check the grades, I'm just gonna look if you have a pen practice folder and see how many images you put in there. Okay. So let's do share this. Paste it in here. Assign that again. So let's start with the Mickey Mouse, but um, if you copy paste the Mickey Mouse picture, it's not gonna have a white background. It's gonna have a black one because it's a PNG. So you might want to download that. Download that and bring it into Illustrator. Okay. Um, actually, if you're in Illustrator too, by now this should be pretty easy for you. But still do it anyway. It's still good practice. I was gonna say maybe start with something more difficult, but let's just go from just do all of them. I'll do the Illustrator 1 class. I'll make them do the Mickey Mouse as well, but um, I'm not gonna expect them to do the Elvis Presley stuff. That's for you guys. So you're gonna start off easy, but slowly do more difficult images. So you could use the shape tools for the ears. You can draw a circle for the head. Get rid of the fill. For the eyes, you could draw 2 more circles like this. We could pretty much use mostly circles, and then we'll use the shape builder for this. So let me give these circles that I'm drawing a stroke so you can actually see them. Make it thicker maybe. So you can see I'm drawing a circle here, circle for the head. These are circles as well. Let's make the let's rotate that. Make it thicker. I'm gonna lower the opacity of Mickey and lock him so I don't accidentally click on it and move it around. Rotate this image. So let's do this part first. I'm gonna not exclude the pupils for now and the nose. Just do this area. You can see there's a circle there, a circle over here. This is more practice with the shape builder than pen tool since I'm doing all these circles. But um, again, the shape builder is also going to be important for using like to draw like a celebrity face, you might have to use it. So let's do that too. Okay, so you see this? Just have a bunch of circles here, right? But with the shape builder, we can grab the shape builder here. We can cut out these holes for the eye. We can cut out this part for the mouth. Actually, cut this whole thing. Oops. Connect all that. Can get rid of this part too. Let's see what's happening. These circles are not touching. Okay, let me try that again, but make sure this circle here is overlapping this one. Okay, so connect these and these and these. And that and that. The ear, let me double check. Yeah, that should I think this circle is a little too big, so let me make it a bit smaller. Okay. So with the shape builder, connect this and this and that and that, and then connect these. Uh-oh. See, when this doesn't overlap right here, it needs to overlap slightly. Then we can do that. Cool. Alright, so we got that shape. So we can delete this, move this over. Make small adjustments if we need to. Oh, um, yeah, then we can draw the eyes and the nose. And this line. This line we can make it have this width profile and then increase the thickness. And then for the mouth, we could draw this same width profile. And for the other side, and for this, we'll draw a line. And let's see. Could do another circle for this. Adjust it a tiny bit. Then select the line, select that circle, cut off the top part. We're left with this shape, and inside that we'll draw the tongue. Make that red. No stroke. Make this black. And what else? Just this line maybe slightly. Just put like a little point right there and here. Check that line, change it to this width profile. This one as well. Make this line thicker. And I think that's it. And we move this here, fill the colors that need to be filled. That's it. And we drew Mickey Mouse. What's this here? Oh, okay, that's weird. Let me just delete that. I think I need to connect from here to here. Or select all this and just use the shape builder to cut that out. There we go. That's easier. Okay, yeah, start with something easy like the Mickey Mouse. And eventually you'll build up to this. If you think you can already do this, then go ahead. Start working on it already. Maybe give a couple more, um, not just one face, you could do more if you want. Because again, depending on which picture you choose, some pictures are really hard, some are easy. Like, um, like from these, I would say, I guess this was probably maybe the easiest one to do. This is what Kate Beckinsale. Find a picture online, do that one if you want. This one was fun to do too. So sometimes when it's a picture like this where there's like no shadow on the face, then you can just do the eyebrows and the eyelashes and the lips and stuff and just add the tiny bit of highlights that you need. But some cases you need to use like the shadows actually to draw the face, like in this case. But you know what? We got some highlights here I should add. I'm gonna add that real quick. Did I add this highlight here? No, probably not. Let's add it. So we can do that and then a little bit here. They're kind of dark areas, but I might make it look better if I include those as highlights. Not really, that kind of looks weird. So maybe we don't need that one. If we're gonna have this one, that looks bad too, so I get rid of it or make it much smaller. Anyways, I think it's fine how it is. Cool. So that will be one of your assignments as well. Maybe your last assignment. Um, so for today, just pen practice. There's some other assignments I might have you do. I'm already making you do the drawing your name. There's some instructions on it here. Um, go over custom brushes. If you look at assignment 6, it's called assignment 6 because it's like if you continued from Illustrator 1, but technically this is assignment 1. 7 is assignment 2. 8 is assignment 3. I'm just going to rename these so you're not confused. And then the Elvis Presley, which I just showed you, that will be like your final assignment. Be assignment 4. And in between, I might sprinkle in some other projects we can work on if we have time. But for now, it's the pen tool, drawing your name, creating a custom brush, and applying it to it. I forgot, I could also make a cool pencil brush. Let me show you how to do that real quick. We're kind of out of time though. But yeah, you could even do like a cool pencil brush if you wanted. Should I save this? Is it worth saving? Why not? I did spend maybe an hour on it, so yeah, let's save it. Elvis, save. Um, any questions? Questions? The pencil, I mean, drawing your name, that one, just have it done by next um Tuesday. Let me put a due date so it's confirmed. Let's go pen practice. Draw name with pen tool. Due May 28th. Oh, I made it due Friday, huh? Yeah, let's make this drawing your name with the pen tool in cursive. Let me edit that and apply custom brush. Let's kill two birds with one stone. So do the custom brush as well, because I've been showing you how to do it. So after you draw your name, try drawing making a custom brush. Like for example, let me see how quick I could do this. Let's say I want to make a pencil brush. I would draw maybe a pencil real quick. Like that could be the pencil body right there. Right, and then you just turn this into a brush. Brushes, new brush, pattern brush. Okay. And then here, if you want to make it a pencil, you're gonna have to do the endpoints. So these two, when you double click on the new brush that you created, where's my brushes? New brush, pattern brush. Yeah, click OK. So if you double click on that new brush that you created, Like I can apply that to this, right? Let's turn that off. Right now it's just gonna be that. It's doesn't look like a pencil yet. But to make it look like a pencil, it just needs the endpoints. So if you double click this option here, it's for the beginning of the brush, this is for the end of the brush. You can pick a pattern, but if you want to use a pencil tip as a pattern, then you're gonna have to draw a pencil tip. So you draw this, maybe make it like a brown color like this. Give it a lead tip like that. Then you take that and you say object, pattern, make. You say okay, just create a pattern out of it and say done. Once you do that, then you can go to your brushes, double click this, and then let's say for the tip of the pencil, now we can see new pattern is there. There's that pencil. Oh, but it needs to be rotated though. So let me do that again. Rotate it this way. Object pattern make. Say okay. Done. Try that again. So for the end of it, I want this. Ooh, and it has to be the same size as well. So it might be a good idea to line it up with this. Make it the same size first. Then um, object pattern make. Done. Okay, done. Then go to my brushes, double click this, choose the tip to be this new pattern, and then apply it to this. Now you can see the tip of this is gonna be that pencil. And then you could do the eraser the same way. So just draw an eraser, make it a pattern, and then double click this, and then make it be this end. Now if I do this, you can see instead of this shape though, just draw an eraser and replace it with that. Then you could have a pencil brush just like the one in here. Okay. Alright, so let me give you the sign out code.